Hi everyone, welcome to Proven Inspiration. I would like to welcome you to this program. On this program, you'll be receiving tips on various life related issues, such as matters of the heart, attitude related issues, relational issues, and so much more. Today's topic is how to stay calm when you feel like losing it. If you feel like you're going to get angry, how do you stay calm? Listen and I'll give you some tips. So let's start with a scenario. You're in a public place and someone you love says something that absolutely gets under your skin. You can feel yourself getting really angry, but in that particular moment, what do you do? Here's tip number one: breathe. Be mindful of your breath. Be mindful of your surroundings. Take a moment to just breathe. Instead of lashing out or saying something that you may later regret, just breathe. Take a moment just to yourself, just to be conscious of your breath. Breathe, be mindful of the situation, be mindful of the person and the people around you. Take a moment to think about how you may be considered by them. So whilst you're breathing, you're calming down. It's helping you calm down, or it should help you calm down. It doesn't always work. So you'll need to move on to the next step, which is to remove yourself from the situation. Sometimes when you are still in the same vicinity as the person who has angered you, it's best to let them know that you're going to be taking a few minutes to yourself. So remove yourself from the situation, calm yourself down, and then return to the situation. And that doesn't necessarily have to take place on the very same day. You may need the rest of the day to calm down, to think things through. Don't feel obligated to carry on with a conversation in which you might find yourself overreacting. So in order to take control of yourself, because that's the most important thing, you can't control what other people do, but you can definitely control yourself. So start by removing yourself from the situation, calm yourself down, and then arrange for a time to return to the conversation, because words are powerful. However, words spoken at the wrong time can kill. So you want to give life with your words. So it's important to use your words wisely. So instead of lashing out or shouting and overreacting, which just causes more harm, it's best that you remove yourself from the situation, calm down, and then return to the conversation. Here's tip number 3. Think about what you really want. What do you want to achieve by having this conversation? What points are you actually trying to get through? Because what I find is that a lot of the time people argue and bicker and fight over little things. However, they fail to address the underlying issue. So in that time of removing yourself and mindfulness, because all of this is going on at the same time, in that time of calm reflection, you're thinking about what it is that you really want. If, for instance, you're feeling disrespected, or if you feel like you're not being appreciated or your time is not being appreciated, identify it. So think things through. Think about what the person has said or done. Think it through, and then identify what it is that you really want, at what points you want the other person to actually understand. So think things through, think about what you really want, and then address it in a conversation, in a civil conversation. The next tip is consider how do you enjoy being controlled. Our emotions are our servants, but a lot of the time we find ourselves serving our emotions, and anger is a key one. If we're not careful, we can find ourselves being controlled by anger instead of being in control of anger. So anger is a force, it's energy, but the way we use it is what can either make or break a relationship, a situation. That's the key, really. So think about how do you what's your relationship with control? For me, for instance, I'm someone who likes to be in control of what I do, what I say, in control of my time. I know that's not always possible, but as much as possible, I like to be in control. But then if you might be thinking, oh, I'm not feeling appreciated, or I don't like the way that person spoke to me because it makes me feel disrespected, they're making me feel angry. You must realize you've already relinquished control, because nobody can control you. But if someone says stirs up anger in you and takes you to the point whereby you find yourself overreacting and acting in ways that are not part of your normal behavior, you must realize that you have given the keys, you've given them the control over you. So in order to take back control over your life, you have to make sure you're nice and calm, you're clear-headed, and you know exactly what you want. But if you allow yourself to be led by the emotions, then you will find yourself spiraling out of control and doing things or saying things that you may regret. It takes a minute to spew out words. It takes a few seconds to overreact. However, the consequence of those words or actions could take many years. You could create wounds, you could destroy relationships just by those few minutes of anger. So it's really, really important that you consider your relationship with control. Consider what your thoughts are about control. How do you feel about being how do you feel about being in control of yourself? How do you feel about being in control of a situation? And when you've made that analysis, then you can then go ahead and speak or have a discussion. But then you've actually identified what it is that you've identified what it is that you'd like to achieve. You've identified what circumstance, what part of the situation you'd like to gain control over. I saw this ancient text the other day, and it says, "In patience possess your souls." And what I realized, just thinking about that text, what I realized that in so many ways we become impatient. We become impatient with ourselves. We become impatient with people. We become impatient with circumstances or situations. And because we are impatient perhaps with people's flaws, we don't make enough allowances for people's flaws. We find ourselves being driven by emotions such as anger. So when you feel like I'm spiraling out of control, take time, be a bit patient with yourself, with this other individual. Perhaps they've misunderstood you, or perhaps they have a flaw that you have to be a bit more understanding about. Just take a little bit of time and just calm down, take on some patience, and then address the situation. The final tip is, how would you want to be treated if you were the other person? That's a key one. It's not one that's easy to remember. It's not one that is, it's not necessarily easy to remember in the heat of the moment, However, it is so pivotal, so crucial that we actually consider how we speak to other people, how we treat other people, and just think about whether we would want to be treated in the same way. And if we can actually do that, then we will see a massive difference in the way that we react or respond, even in anger. So just to run through that again: number 1, breathe. Number 2, remove yourself from the situation and calm down. Number 3, think about what you really want. Number 4, think about your perspective on control, which is self-control. Number 5, how would you want to be treated if you were the other person? Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for future videos and teachings such as this one. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Have an awesome week. Take care. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome to